In the world of emergency communications, there are many barriers to joining the ranks of the 911 operators and dispatchers who serve. There are the skills of the job that are not easy to learn. There are the hours worked, which are abnormal to a lot of people outside of the industry. But still, there can be one barrier which is totally unneeded and artificial, that of the gatekeepers. This is LifeLine. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of LifeLine 911 with your host, Erica.
Hello.
I'm your co-host, Gary, and today we will be discussing gatekeepers, those people who make entry into the profession a little more difficult than it naturally has to be. And that can be very challenging for folks that are trying to join the profession for the first time. So, Erica, when I talk about gatekeepers, what am I meaning? What kind of people? What are they doing? Like, what's going on with them?
Gatekeepers, in my opinion, are the people these are the people that say, I don't need to know your name until you've been here 6 months, or I don't even bother to find out anything about you until you've been here a year. Or they could be the people that, with no proof ahead of time, have just decided you don't belong in this profession, whether it be where you came from, I don't know, the way you look, the way you wear your hair. I do not know. Your eyes are too close together. I don't know.
Uh,
Those people. But they and their cliques have they create this invisible barrier with their attitudes and tones and just the way that they conduct themselves and interact with newer people, just make it unwelcoming.
yeah,
And it's unfortunate, and it is baffling to me now. I don't
uh,
get it.
yeah, and it's an artificial barrier to entry. Why that happens? It could be a lot of different reasons. Perhaps, well, when you work in emergency communications, you tend to form a very tight knit uh, Greek cadre family, you might even say. And so that tends to almost become like a really tightly woven basket. It doesn't let any water out, but it also
Mm-hmm.
doesn't let any water in. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of works both ways. So it really is like almost you have to prove yourself to be worthy, quote unquote,
Yes.
worthy
Yeah.
of the title. And when you have people that are wanting to keep it exclusive, the work exclusive, like, oh, only 0.3% of people can do this job.
Mm-hmm.
They wear that as a badge of honor because it is a challenging profession to be in. But as we've said many times on the show, if you don't have anybody set in place to replace you, then the profession is not going to continue.
Agreed. And we have, you know, so many external forces coming at us all the time, public opinion, public, them not knowing what it is truly that we do. We have, the Hollywood perception, I like to call it. Then you have, politics that sometimes play into what we do. We don't need any other barriers to doing this work. And the
No,
truth is, we simply don't. The work is hard, and the job, no matter how many seats the PSAP has, the work is hard enough. Learning it is hard enough. You don't need, or you shouldn't have, the people who are supposed to help you get better as one of those forces coming at you. It's just unnecessary. And I like what you said earlier, as we were prepping for the show. You said, sometimes it could be that it to keep it exclusive, makes it more honorable.
Uh,
Maybe that's part of it. Okay. Uh, maybe, but you're still creating a barrier to who could be one of the best colleagues you will ever have. You don't know until they get in here and learn and get better over time. That's
yeah.
just the way it goes. You will never know if that could be one of the most amazing call takers, dispatchers, tactical dispatch. You never know. Some people develop niches within our profession. Some people are just really good at numbers. Some people are really good at SOPs. Some people are just naturally really good at triaging medical calls. We can all do it because we have to, but some are just amazing. And you have some that, that's the one that if I ever have a medical emergency or somebody I love has one, I want them to get them on the phone, even over me.
Uh-huh.
Some people are just amazing at tactical SWAT type stuff. We can all do it because we have to and we're all trained to. But some people are just, man, out of the water. Some will grow into the best supervisor you might ever have. But you don't know that if we stand at the front gate, point of entry, and say, you're not worthy just because I'm looking at you and you just don't look like it.
Uh, yeah, and keep in mind, they may also become your good friend. People
Hmm.
that are in training don't necessarily act like how they normally would act outside of training because
Sure.
their energy should be focused on learning the job, on
Hmm.
developing the skills. So they may not be as much of a social butterfly, or maybe they really like making cookies or running potlucks or doing any of the other things, and because their energies are focused elsewhere, you don't really get a chance to meet the person as much as once they actually are comfortable in their job. Now, that could be that they are like, hey, I don't, you know, they might perform better in some aspects during training, but that's not to say that you can't still give them a chance and help influence them to be the type of dispatcher you want them to be,
Sure.
because you're not always going to be sitting in that chair to make sure that those officers you're working with are okay, to make sure that those citizens that are calling in are getting fast and accurate help. It's not a job one person can do, and
Mm-mm.
the more people we can get in, the better, because the job will weed out plenty of people on its own just because of the nature of it,
Yes.
the time demands of it, the pay of it. There's so many things that will take out a huge chunk of people that
Yeah.
we don't. There's nothing else that needs to be gate kept on that.
Agreed. And like you said, you may miss out on a really good friend. And I get, for anybody who might be listening or watching, saying, well, we don't come to work to make friends. Horse pucky. I call horse pucky. No, you don't come to work for that. You come for the paycheck. Let's just be real. But working in a pressure cooker like we do at times is made better when you have people that you trust and that you get along with and that will have your back. So that to me is an excuse that people use. I don't come here to make friends. And I think it's also a defense mechanism for when it isn't happening.
So that's why I don't have any friends. Okay.
Gary, you have plenty of friends.
Yeah. I mean, help as many people as you can to be successful at this, because I maybe it's some people are afraid that they might not be the best, if a new person comes in and is better than them. I don't know, but relish the competition if that's the case, because that'll
If
only
that,
make you better and make everything safer. We've got some people that work on the shift I work on that really love to compare their not ready times at 911. So how often they can stay in ready able to take a call. And it's made all of the people that are
Slackers.
competitive, yeah, that are competitive like that, it's lowered all of their
Mhm.
not ready times to make
Sure.
them,
We've
yeah,
got a couple of them on our on the evening shift like that, and I mean, it's hilarious to watch them because they're like, "What? Yours is 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is, up or down," and we don't have to do anything.
uh,
I just get my popcorn and my Kool-Aid and I just lay in the cut and just watch because it's hilarious to watch. But if
uh,
you are that competitive person, um, and you don't want someone else to come in who may end up showing you up, for lack of a better way to put it, that's fine. But here's the problem that I have as a would-be citizen caller: I couldn't care less.
right.
I don't care. I need a competent individual to answer my phone call. The officers and the medics and the firefighters don't care. They need a competent dispatcher to do the things that only the dispatcher can do so that they can do the things that only they can do. It is, if it's a competition for you, that's fine. Make it healthy. But I'm thinking of a movie that I saw once about these cheerleaders, and one of the great lines is, "Bring it on, Gary. Don't hurt
Oh,
yourself."
okay. I was thinking Mean Girls.
Not cheerleaders, I don't think. But that's a whole other, boy, there's a topic. Anyway, but literally, this one of the cheerleaders was talking to her dad about sponsoring this other group to come in because they couldn't afford to financially make it to this big huge cheer competition. And she was talking to her dad about sponsoring them because she said, "I define being the best as competing against the best and winning."
That's a good definition.
It is. She's
Yeah.
like, you're not the best if everybody else around you is beat down, or if you create an environment where trainees cannot come in and feel safe to learn. If you feel like you are the bee's knees, we don't know that to be necessarily true if you're surrounded by what might be considered mediocre. Why not elevate the profession itself by making it a safe learning environment so you can have the second best if it means that much to you?
Uh, so what about people that are maybe they like I don't want to invest the emotional uh that cost that it would be into somebody unless they've shown that they're going to stay here for 2 years, 3 years, because our profession does have a very, very high turnover rate. So, we might have 50% turnover some years where a lot of people go in, a lot of people go out because it is such a difficult job. There might be people that are like, I don't want to try and make friends with somebody who's just going to be leaving in 6 months from now. Is that a good reason to kind of hold back on what you're wanting to do?
Not at all, because I would ask you, are they human?
I think so.
Are they human beings that have feelings and emotions and suffer from this horrible thing that we all suffer from, which is the need to be um, valued, respected, even liked? Some people it's more important than others, but I don't know anyone who does not thrive on community,
Right.
whatever the size or whatever that looks like. So if you're telling me that, that's a cop out, and that's an excuse for you to be less than what your profession um, should be.
Uh-huh.
We're in the business of helping people, and extending a helping hand to people in their time of need. How is it that a trainee is any less than someone who is in need of your expertise? Your You can do it. Even if all you do is think back, and I know some of us have to dig a little further back than others, but we all remember what it feels like that day when you can't seem to do anything right. What you don't need is the gatekeepers going, "I knew it. I could tell by the way she wore her hair. She wasn't gonna cut it." Rather than, "I remember that day. I remember several days like that. Just keep coming back. You don't have to go
Mhm.
have a beer with them, but you can be a human being.
Yeah. And I think you had a good point there because it's not about necessarily being ultra friendly with somebody. It's just, we're talking about just being professional with them.
Mhm.
Smile at them, acknowledge their presence in the
The human
building.
being that's standing in the room with you.
Yeah. And give them encouragement when you can, because there's going to be plenty of discouragement. Um, and this is not just for trainees. This is for anybody. Like,
Yeah,
you want to encourage each other because there's plenty of discouragement in this world. I can promise you that. So
yeah,
having a group of people that encourage one another makes a strong foundation and a community, and really helps reduce turnover. So you can start building long-term bonds with people because you're like, oh, I've known this person 10 years now.
yeah.
And, uh, you know, you want to keep the basket tight, but you don't want to make it where the good water can't flow into it.
Agreed. Agreed. Because I mean, and I'll continue to say it. All of us will either move on, leave this earth, or leave the profession at some point.
Uh,
And it is our responsibility to create an environment where others can come in and take our place, whenever that is. And for whatever the reason, it is, I think it makes us less than as a profession on the whole to have this black stain on our persona, if you will, because people look at us, people who don't know anything about what this is other than what they've seen, read, or heard, or imagined, they're disappointed to hear that that crap goes on
yeah.
because we're considered more honorable than that, and rightly so for the work that we do.
Yeah. And you want to live up it, try and be the person that you want to work with.
Hmm.
Um, sort of the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah.
And even though you may be not new in the profession, just think about how you like to be treated when you walk in the building. Do you like to be ignored, or do you like people to say hi to you? It doesn't necessarily mean they have to come over and chit chat with you for 30 minutes. A lot of
No.
people are kind of introverted and they don't like that, but just like hey, morning, how you doing? Get you a cup
Yeah.
of coffee, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. It goes a long way to helping build the camaraderie. And then when you need a day off, they might be willing to take that overtime for you,
Yeah.
because it we only have each other to rely on. And whether you have a really small center or a really big center, it's still the same case, because there's a limited number of people that can do the job that's being done.
Agreed. And it is hard to get new people to apply for these jobs, and they're putting themselves out there. They really are. And yeah, we know, everybody needs to work because everybody has bills and needs to eat and all those things. But there are jobs out there that pay more with less stress. And when someone says I'm going, and let me just back up and say they know, they fully expect for it to be, if not the hardest, one of the hardest things they've ever done professionally. They expect that. Most of them will tell you. I
Mm-hmm.
was so excited when I got the call, but I was scared to death at the same time because this is a big deal. They know that. So for
Mm-hmm.
them to put themselves out there like that when they could probably go a few doors down and doing something completely separate, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, making maybe $1 less,
Yeah.
or even two or
Yeah.
$3 more. They could easily do that, but they chose to give this a try.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be the invisible barrier that they run into because there's enough of those.
Plenty. Absolutely. It's like the more people we can give a hand to help through, because as you said, there's plenty of things that are going to stop people. You know,
Hmm.
the hours aren't working for me. I can't do, overtime. The type of calls is too difficult. There's so many things that are
Yeah.
going to pull people out of the profession. We don't need anything else to do that. And it doesn't make the profession any better or the
No.
job any more honorable to have, a 0.3% success rate for trainees as opposed to the natural 0.6%
Hmm.
that it would be if you had a more welcoming environment.
Agreed.
It Because I remember one time we calculated that it was harder to get through dispatch training than it was to become a Navy SEAL in terms of the percentage of people that initially applied to who got cut
Hmm.
loose after 6 months.
Yeah.
Not not saying that Navy SEAL training's easy by any means,
Not at all.
but when you get like 400 or 500 applicants and that ends up being one or two people that can actually
Hmm.
continue after 6 months, it's hard. So if we can make that better for people, it'll not only make it better for the people coming in, but it'll make it better for the people already there, because
Agreed.
you want to go to work at a place that is positive, uplifting. Those are the types of places that have lower turnover, that have lower
Hmm.
people calling out sick, that have, more stability to them. And we all want that in our lives, because
Yep.
when you don't have that, then every day it's like, oh, 8 people called out sick today. How are we going to, jostle all this around? And it just makes it more stressful for everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So do you think that it's like if you were just say a random, call taker or dispatcher working in a center, what could you do today or whenever your next shift is to try and change that? Because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed by the level of inertia, because they're like, my center might be really toxic. Nobody talks to each other. Everybody hates each other. There's nothing that I can do to make that better. What could the single person do to try and change that around?
I don't know that you can change the whole center, but you have control over the one person that badges in every day.
Yep.
You can control that person. And if you are the lone, because see me, I thrive on a challenge. I don't have any problem being the only one saying whatever needs to be said, Gary. We
I
work
know.
together. No, but really, you don't have any control over what other people do. But I tell you what, you may not realize just how much influence you have if you dare to go against the current.
Mhm.
You have a new person coming in, be the professional that you are. Be the human being that you would want to encounter, be that one. And when the others have something to say, tell them to take a long walk off of a short pier. It's really easy. You don't
Yeah.
control me and you don't tell me how to be.
Mhm. Yeah. I think you'll find that that's very surprising how much difference that'll be. Because I know that when I think about like a positive, kind, open person, I've got a couple of people where we work that kind of jump to mind. One of them is on your shift, and he's like really just always very friendly, always very open. Everybody loves working with him. You probably know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Um, and you know that kind of thing makes a difference, because when you're like, oh, such and such is working today, it makes things just a little brighter, because you're like, I know
Sure.
that, I'm going to get a smile today. I know that, they're going to say hi to me. You know,
Hmm.
it's going to make things a little bit easier in a profession that naturally is very challenging. And
Yeah.
if you could have 20 people on a shift that were all doing that, how much easier it would be to get through either the tediousness of when nothing's happening or the
Hmm.
absolute insanity of when everything is happening, and anything in between.
Those days.
Yeah. So you can be, I think, just in your actions, you can make a big difference. Because as you said, the only person you can affect the change of attitude on is the person who badges in, who you control badges in.
Yeah.
And that really, I think, does have a ripple effect. It may take time, but just have that be who your character is, because
Yes.
the trick is that will also make you a happier person to do that.
Agreed. Agreed.
Because you're not sending out, I don't want to say negative energy, but when you're putting out,
Yeah, you can say it. Negative energy.
yeah, but when you're positive and focusing on the good things and reinforcing that in other people, it's going to make you feel better as a person.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because I think maybe one of the reasons there is so much gatekeeping is because there's so much negativity in the profession. Like, we hear people dying,
Yeah.
we hear people getting raped, we hear about buildings burning, people inside. There's so much
Horrible
there's
things.
so much, there's so many horrible things, so much sorrow. It almost it kind of affects you. And we have to be able to help each other get through that, because whether it's one big thing that really affects us or 10,000 small things over, the course of a decade, it chips away at us. And if we can't help each other restore ourselves to the people we want to be, we're going to just lose ourselves in negativity.
I agree 100%.
Well, I hope that we haven't lost you all in negativity this week, and we appreciate you all joining us. If you have any experiences with this at your center or any questions about it, please feel free to drop us a line at lifeline911podcast@gmail.com. And from all of us at Lifeline 911, I'm Gary.
I'm Erica.
And we will see you next week.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about today's topic or topics you'd like to cover in the future, please reach out to us at lifeline911podcast@gmail.com. This has been a production of Lifeline 911, copyright 2026. Until next time, this is Lifeline 911 signing off.